Psyche Truth. Life, wisdom.
Hello, my name is Mira Hoffman and I'm with San Antonio Chair Massage. In this video, we're going to be talking about some great techniques to relieve low back pain. And we'll also be showing some techniques that you can use for working on the legs in the massage chair. So we'll go ahead and begin by opening and warming up the back. So beginning by placing your palms on either side of the spine. And just do some kneading and compression. And right now I'm using about a medium to firm pressure, but depending on what feels good to your receiver, you're always welcome to adjust. And just work the full length of the back. So right now it's mid-February here in Austin, and we're actually having some nice sunny weather, even though it's a bit cooler. But I'm curious what the weather is like where you're at right now. Hopefully you're not too snowed in, or if you are, you're enjoying a nice snow day. I'd love to know about your weather adventures from wherever you're at. So taking that technique all the way back up. And working the top of the shoulders. So just saying hello to the neck and shoulders a little bit. If you want to check out some more techniques for that area, we have some other videos that you can look at. And coming all the way back down, just walking with the palms of the hands. So we're working all the way down towards the hips. And just beginning to open up the low back. We're going to do some nice circles here. So pressing into the low back muscles and kind of making a little circle outwards and around. And working up towards the mid-back a little bit for the QL muscle, the quadratus lumborum. And just getting it nice and loosened up. We'll come onto the sacrum a little bit. I'm just working a little bit downwards, gentle pressure here. And then working into the glutes. I'm just working on the top part of the glutes here with the heels of the hands. And just kind of saying hello to all the areas that we're going to be working on today. Getting them nice and warmed up. Nice and loosened up. So you can do alternating hands or both hands at the same time, making a couple passes. I'm just starting to get a sense of any areas that are tight. Maybe one side feels a little bit tighter than the other. And just making note of that for when you come back and work. So we did some nice kind of pushing in and scooping away. Now we're going to draw down and inward. So placing your palms kind of at the juncture sides of where the QL runs. And compressing towards the midline. It's a good little pec workout. You're a massage therapist. And just kind of kneading those muscles. And we'll go ahead and come onto one side. So coming out to the side and kneading with our thumbs and fingers, just trying to scoop the muscle up. Gonna pull it up and outwards. So I'm applying a little bit of pressure with my thumb. And just making sure that you're not pressing too hard with the thumb, because this can be a sensitive area and it may not feel comfortable, depending on the pressure threshold of your client or recipient. So working on this side of the spine and into these QL and erector muscles. If you have bigger hands, you may only be able to use one hand, or if you have smaller hands, it may work out to use two. So after we've spent some time kind of warming up the QL a little bit more, we're going to come in and do some static pressure and melting. So placing the fingertips into the muscle belly and then stabilizing with your free hand kind of on the opposite side. And this is a good opportunity to encourage your recipient to take some nice deep breaths. It's a good pausing moment for you to focus on your breath as well. And holding there for a couple breaths. And you can move the fingers a little bit lower down. So right now I'm working on the outer belly of the quadratus lumborum, the QL. I'll just make a full pass down that muscle belly and that outer edge. Courtney, how's the pressure feeling? Okay. So again, just adjusting accordingly if there needs to be more or less pressure. And coming out, we'll reposition for a little bit lower. So right now my fingers are kind of starting to butt up and touch against the hip bone. But not a lot of pressure onto the bone itself. So I still have enough space and gap here for that to not be uncomfortable. So we did one pass kind of directly on QL. I'm going to come out and repeat that, but this time just focusing on the lower part of the erectors. So coming back towards the mid-back starting point. And kind of stay parallel to the spine on this take. Holding each spot for a couple breaths. And working down to just above the hip. Let's kind of brush and sweep down the muscles before we transition. So we're going to make a final pass into the QL muscles using our forearm. So really just kind of picking up the slack. You can feel the hip sort of at the bottom, so just above that. But you need to be careful because the ribs, the floating ribs, start right there. So all my pressure is kind of into the muscle belly here. And if you want, you can intensify and stabilize this movement by using your free hand to reach around to the other side. So this is a little bit of a broader pressure, but you can also use a lot more pressure. So just making sure that this still feels good, encouraging any feedback. And holding for a few breaths before releasing. And again, you can use the palms of your hands. And just do some nice circle work into the sides of these muscles. So the next part that we're going to start working into is working into the glute. I'm just going to start with some static loose fist. I'm just doing some gentle compression into the glute muscle. Again, you want to avoid any bony landmarks. So staying off the sacrum, off the hip bone. Really, you can work deeper and deeper as you do this, because the glutes have such a deep muscle layering. More pressure tends to feel better in this area. But if you've had any pain, or your client has had any pain in this area, just make sure to open those lines of communication so that they can let you know if anything does not feel good. So even working into the outer edge of the glute and the sides. So slowly shifting from just an open fist compression. I'm going to add a little bit of twisting. And this makes it feel a little bit more dynamic. And it's making a few passes as we twist. You can even change arms and come back to that forearm move, this time working below the hip. So just like we did for the QL, just kind of placing the forearm down and in, and then starting to shift your pressure into that. Again, no direct pressure over the bones, but really working into the glutes. So all my pressure is kind of in towards the midline and slightly down. Really starting to hit closer to these outer lateral muscles, lateral edge of the glutes. And continuing to work a little bit more medially. And returning again to my open palm circles. And the last thing that we're going to do is some deeper pressure into the glutes with our knees. So this is definitely more of an advanced technique. So what I like to do is kind of stabilize my hands on the upper back, and then I'm going to stand just a little bit towards the side that I'm working on. We'll keep the outer leg on the ground, and lifting the inner leg, I'm going to bring that knee just right into the fold of the glute. How's that feel, Courtney? Okay, do you want more pressure, or does that feel about right there? Okay, so the glutes definitely can handle quite a bit of pressure. And with your knee, you just want to work nice and slowly as you shift the weight down and into that glute area. Does that feel better there? So I'm just going to hang out for a couple breaths. Before I pick up again and settle back in. So there's a lot of balancing going on here. Definitely encourage you to skip this if it doesn't feel good for your body or you don't feel confident about the architecture of this area. I'm going to keep on placing my knee further and further out towards the side. So doing one pass, we can come back in and then start again. So really staying off of those bony landmarks, away from the hips and the sacrum. Using your upper hands to stabilize. And just slowly lifting and walking your knee out. Before we go, I'm going to do a little bit of a dynamic movement with the knee. So coming back to that middle or centermost point. And I'm just going to apply pressure as we kind of move exteriorly or laterally. Can do this again. Just going nice and slow till you come off the side of the glutes. So that's a nice segue for us to come and work into the leg. So we've already kind of opened up the slow back area, we've opened up the glutes. Now we're going to come and work on the outer leg. So picking up with the open palm, I'm going to start making little circles and compressing into the IT band. So the IT band runs from the hip, side of the hip, all the way down to the outside of the knee. So just along this pass that we're working. It actually kind of curves up into here, but starting again, making another pass. With those circles, this can be a little bit tender on some people. And then I like to give some nice continuity to that movement by compressing into the backs of the calves. Walking all the way down into the feet. And most people normally will have shoes on, so you can skip the feet or kind of just end at the ankle. Whatever feels good. I generally don't work the quads when people are in the chair. I think that feels a little bit, sometimes crossing a boundary can be a sensitive area that they're not expecting to have worked on. So I tend to just kind of keep a nice exterior approach in the calves so that they feel comfortable and relaxed with the session. And we're going to return, carrying that nice open energy back up the sides. And the side of the back. And into the neck. And using both hands, we'll compress into either side of the spine again. And then at this point I would transition to working the low back on the opposite side and the glutes on the opposite side and all the way down into the leg. And we can end, after you've done that, with some nice thumb circles into the sacrum. So as a general rule, I always caution against using any pressure onto any sort of bones, but there's some nice fascia that's really thick and tendons on top of the sacrum. That you can melt into gently with your thumbs. You can do some cross fiber fiction here. It feels really nice. I'm gonna open up those areas. And you can continue that movement with the thumbs on either side of the spine. Working into the erectors and QL. All the way up the back. Into the neck and shoulders. All the way into the neck. And I always like to make a nice goodbye move to the back. You can check out some of the other ways I close my sessions and some of our other videos. But in this one, I'm going to show you some nice just kind of rubbing and brushing. So it's a little bit easier if they have a shirt on, your hands tend to glide a little bit better. And then you can really pick up speed, just kind of running over all those muscles that we worked. And brushing down off the feet feels nice. Come back to that low back area. Give it nice, lots of love. And back up off the top of the shoulders. So thank you for joining me. Again, my name is Mira Hoffman and I'm with San Antonio Chair Massage. Make sure to favorite this video so you can come back and watch it again with your friend. And subscribe to the Psyche Truth YouTube channel. We have thousands of videos here to help you on your journey into health and wellness. Thank you.